minutes starting now.
Okay. Well, I'm 75 years old, retired, 2 children, 3 grandchildren. That's great. I'm having a happy retirement when I can. During all these 75 years, I've had very little interest whatsoever in politics of any sort, and very little respect, to be honest, for most politicians. So what brings about this thing this Damascene conversion, that I suddenly want to be one? Well, I'll tell you, it comes down to government policy over the last 30 years, and in particular, one issue of that. It's a thing called net zero. Now, net zero is a policy that sounds very good. We will have clean, green energy. I'm here to tell you that it flat won't work. The trouble is with wind turbines, the wind only blows in any turbine for 40% of the time. And when they're producing output, it isn't necessarily when you want it. And it's got to be spilled or paid for to somebody else not to produce it. However, if you do the sums, you find out, properly do the sums, and I'm talking a physicist and a geologist, which I am, do the sums, and they're very easy. Anybody could do them in a sixth form college with maths or physics. Do these sums, you find that we will need to spend somewhere of the order of £4 trillion over the next 25 years to get anywhere near that net zero figure. That's an awful lot of money. The COVID lockdown cost the country £400 billion. This is going to cost you 10 times as much. So we're going to have a COVID lockdown every 10 years. We can't afford it. But where was the economic analysis of this? As an oil executive, whenever I do anything, people scream at me to produce figures, give me an economic justification. I do the same to other people. You cannot float this project unless you prove it will work. But our government, our politicians, absolutely nothing. For all the use Parliament and 600 parliamentarians are, you would have been better off with 600 China dogs sitting on a mantelpiece, nodding through something with no debate, for God's sake. What sort of democracy are we living in? All of these parties, no debate. In the climate, in the net zero, likewise the civil service, no debate. No economics.
You've got 30 seconds, sorry.
Oh, 30 seconds. Okay, you say it's all for climate change. I'm here to tell you, physicists and geophysicists, the science, as they call it, the science. There is no such thing as the science. Science, they say, says it's all 100 or so, every scientist agrees. They don't. The jury is very much out in the extent of climate change and the difficulty that it will cause us in the future. I think we can solve it by mitigation. I don't deny that climate change exists. It always has throughout geological time. And remember, I'm a geophysicist. I can also figure out the equations that control how much carbon dioxide controls things. Yes, it does a bit. But don't listen to the people who tell you that science says this. Look at your data, analyze it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much.